accident. Something in you is ready. Ready to stop rehearsing pain, ready to stop performing peace, ready to stop carrying emotions that you were never meant to be permanent. This is your invitation to board a different train. One that doesn't rush past your feelings or bypass your truth. One that moves slowly, intentionally toward emotional healing. For the next 7 days, we're going to unpack the weight, not all at one time. That's why we're breaking it up in 7 days. This is day one. But layer by layer, we'll talk about boundaries, release legacy, and quiet rebuild that happens when we finally choose ourselves, when we finally say, I'm choosing or I'm making decisions that's good for me. Not what the next person may think, or not seeking validation from people who you trust, or, you know, you could find, whomever. You are putting all that back on yourself. So that's why we're breaking it down in 7 days, because all this at one time, whew, it'll be too much, okay, in one day. I'll be on here for like 5 hours, and I'm not trying to do that, right? Now, let's get this straight. This isn't therapy, okay? It's soul work. We're working on our soul. It's truth telling. If we can't be honest with ourselves, you're fake from the get-go. If you can really be honest and answer yourself honest questions and give yourself honest answers, it's the emotional maturity in emotion. Okay? So if you've been surviving, if you've been, living paycheck to paycheck, you've been trying to make it, just gotta make it. All right, just gotta make it. You just trying to make it, but you're ready to thrive this time. If you've been silencing yourself to keep others comfortable, if you've been wondering when is your turn to heal, this is it. Welcome to 7 days of emotional healing. Let's get it. Yeah, I've been contemplating so much about when I'm gonna start, when I'm gonna do it. And I prepared so much that it's like, okay, how many times can you have drafts? Like, what is the max draft papers you can have? Like that's why I was at, and I'm just like, okay, let me just go ahead and press record and get this started. And it's crazy because when I came up with this concept, 7 days of emotional healing, I actually wasn't nothing really going on in my life at that moment. I just felt like I know that it's important to have emotional control, have control of your emotions, especially when you don't understand the environments that you're in and you're trying to get out of it, whatever the case may be. I feel like we're getting off subject, but things started happening when I wanted to press record. Things started happening in my life, and I realized that for the past 2 weeks, I've actually been going through what I'm about to share with you guys, and I think that is so amazing because it's like you put an idea out there to God, and you work on it. You put your effort in, because faith is what okay. So you got to put the work in. You have to put the work in. So when I started putting the work in, I started seeing things that started happening around me, and things that was triggering to me. And I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine that when we was discussing something, he actually said something that I didn't like. I didn't like it, and I told him I didn't like it, but I understood why he said that. But it was just the delivery that I did not like. It was the tone. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, and that triggered me, and I had to explain to him, I didn't pop off at you. I could have popped off at him because I could have let my emotions get the best of me and say, hey, you trying to come for my parenthood, like what's going on here? Like, I could have popped off on him, but I didn't. It was a trigger for me, and at that moment I knew I had to ask myself, what did this man really do or say to trigger me in a way that he felt like I'm not a good parent? Or why would he say the things that he said? Or why would he say what he just said? And it triggered me in a way where I felt my parenthood being attacked. All that was going on in my mind in the midst of our conversation. But afterwards, it was like he was like, he kind of pulled back. He was like, I never had a conversation with somebody that understood and continue a conversation and continue to have a conversation. He was like, I didn't know that triggered you. And he apologized. Like, it was a smooth transition. It wasn't going back and forth and we arguing. It was a smooth transition. He was like, I mean, he apologized for, I felt like he attacked. So he didn't really have to apologize because it was actually my emotions that got triggered, not his. So it was crazy. But I feel like that had to happen in order for me to press play on here. Okay. And with that being said, welcome. Welcome to day one of emotional healing. We're going to go ahead with the prayer and then we're going to go ahead and move forward. Okay. God, help me see clearly without judgment. Help me name what I've carried and release no longer belong to me. I no longer want to carry other people weight. I no longer want to carry other people things. Allow me to heal my emotions properly so I can be a better version for myself, for my children, for my future, for my whatever I have on that number one list. I want to be the best version of myself. And in order for me to do that, I must have control of my emotions. And if I don't have control of my emotions, that means I'm not healed properly. And in order for me to heal properly, I must have control of my emotions. So God, just allow me to release what no longer belongs to me. In Jesus' name, amen. So, yeah, you can't heal what you won't name. Let's go straight into it. Whatever you unable to name or put a name on or put a title on or whatever, you're not ready to heal that. Even though you know emotionally it hurts you, but you're not ready to name it. You're not ready to say, okay, this is the end. This is the start. This is like you're not ready to attach whatever you need to attach on it. You're not ready for that. And if you're not ready for that, then that means you're not ready to heal. But for my people that are ready to name things, ready to reveal things because they want to heal their emotions, this one is for you. Before we build legacy, we must clear the baggage we did not ask for. Before we can set boundaries, we must name what's been crossing them. Today, we begin with the audit, not to shame ourselves, but to honor the truth we survive. This is a sacred place, the place where clarity meets compassion. You've been carrying stories that didn't start with you, inherited habits you just picked up along the way, mirror emotional behavior you couldn't understand. Maybe you learned the strength to keep the peace. Maybe you over-explain to feel safe. Maybe you confuse loyalty with silence. Because silence feels like loyalty when you're in survival mode. Oh, I'm just going to be quiet. I'm just trying to get through. Or let me just get through the day. Even though this person just made me upset, I'm just trying to get through the day. Our silence has been mistaken for loyalty because we've been surviving. Many of us are taught that keeping the peace meant keeping quiet. Loyalty was framed as protecting the family image, not rocking the boat. Even when the ship is sinking, don't you tell nobody what goes in this house stays in this house. You know what I'm saying? That type of deal. But this house is seeking. This house is the foundation is cracked. It needs to start over. It needs to change something. Remind me of that movie Encanto. My daughter loves the movie Encanto. And this reminds me of that. Even though this place is sinking, you still want to protect your image. Her grandmother still wants to protect their family image to the community of their home, but the inside of their home was cracking and the foundation was breaking. We have lived in a society where our silence have been mistaken for loyalty. And not only that, keeping the peace. Our silence have been mistaken for keeping the peace. This may lead to misplaced protection. People stay silent thinking they're protecting someone they love, but often they're just shielding dysfunction from accountability. Let me explain something to you. I'm a millennial, for those that don't know. And I often grew up in a community and environment that values stability, image, and emotional restraint. I was taught that you must control your emotions, but also protect your image. Your image is everything, because they used to say you only get one shot. Your best dress. What they say, the what I'm trying to say, the well, either way, the first impression is your best impression. Make that your best impression, because you was protecting your image. And not only that, your stability. Don't let nothing or anyone take you off of your stability, whatever that looks like to you. But as millennials, that's what I grew up on. So loyalty is often framed as endurance, like how hard I can go, things like that. And then when it comes to my family, it was what goes on in this house stays in this house. Like that's what my loyalty. That's how I grew up. It was like protecting the family reputation, even the dysfunction that was going on inside of my family. To the outside world, we look put together, but we are messed up. And a lot of millennials can definitely relate. It was like the house looked pretty on the inside, but man, we got holes and scratches and everything on the inside of it. I mean, the house looked pretty on the outside, but we got holes and scratches and everything on the inside. You don't even know what's going on in this house, but the outside looks good. When it comes to working in working environments, staying quiet about you feeling burnt out, because millennials, let's be honest, we was taught to you know go to work and do the best that you can. And you might not like your boss, but look, you got to have a stability, you got to have a foundation, you got to have a home, you especially if you got a family, especially if you're carrying people. Like sometimes it's best to be quiet, to keep, even if you feel tired, even if you having unfair treatment, because a lot of us millennials, our parents are Gen X, but that's another story for another time. It was like you should be grateful you have a job. That's the era that we grew up, well, we are growing up in, still growing up in. So when it comes to the workplace, loyalty is confused with being a team player, even when the environment is toxic. Like, have you ever been in a toxic environment, toxic workplace, but you knew you could still be a team player, because you need this job because you got something or someone dependent on you. When it comes to friendships, like not confronting your friend, constantly crossing boundaries, because we've been through so much, or we put time on it. Oh, I've been long knowing you for X, this long, or whatever the case may be. Even though you did this effed up stuff to me throughout these 10 years, yeah, but you've been my best friend for 10 years, but you did some effed up stuff to me. So loyalty is like means history over honesty. Like I'll take the time that we've been together, or we've been knowing each other over that. I value that over your disloyalty, value that over your dishonesty, value that over your malicious way, like value that over that, because a real friend, somebody that really truly love you, is not gonna do anything to put you in harm's way at all. And they in the relationship should definitely feel comfortable enough to express how you feel, where understanding can be, you know meetings of the mind. And if y'all don't have the meetings of the mind, that's a friendship that you must let go. That's millennials. That's what we grew up on. When it comes to our romantic relationships, it was enduring the neglect, because we've been through it all. We've been through a lot. And we've been through the cheating phase. We've been through the STDs. We've been through the STI. We've been through this. We've been through that. We've been through the bankruptcy. We've been through, outside children. We've been through all the negative things that you could possibly name in a relationship. We've been through that. Oh, they didn't really mean it. I did this, so it's a cause and effect situation. We make excuses for other people's behavior. Loyalty means staying, not saying nothing, because it's the ride or die mentality. But that ride or die mentality becomes mute and endure, meaning you will shut up and you will endure whatever you got to endure, because at the same time, y'all been going together for a long time. And y'all been married for X, Y, and Z. And you got to go through some things to get to the ending. But dang, how much do my heart have to suffer? It's a song out there by Zanea Monet. And it says, she say, I can't believe how cheap I price my peace. You know how many marriages, you know how many relationships that we have been through that we have cheapened, put our love on sale, put our peace on sale so we can have a piece of something. I mean, we just want to be honest, and that's just touching millennials. That's just touching on the millennial side of the emotional healing part of how we grew up. You know, Gen Zs, they're more vocal. They value authenticity, but they still wrestle with the inherited silence, especially online and in social settings, baby. They will tell you how they feel and what they think of you. Right then and there. They not gonna wait, oh, till we get along and I'm gonna tell you how you feel. You know, some millennials they gonna have a little, something about themselves. They're gonna pull you to the side and talk to you, whatever the case may be. But you got that little sister like, I'm gonna tell you right here, right now, right time, right place. I love them. And I think that's why millennials love Gen Z so much. Like, I got you. I got your back. Say what you need to say. I got your back. Because they value that. They value authenticity. And most of Gen Zs was raised by millennials. And we truly want to be honest. But that's another story for another time. When it comes to social media, not calling out problematic behavior in a friend group because we don't do drama. Loyalty becomes silence to avoid being labeled messy or fake. A lot of Gen Zs would, I don't want to be messy or fake, so I'm going to go ahead and, whatever. But they going to keep it real, though. They going to keep it pushing. When it comes to family feeling guilty about setting boundaries with their parents, you've been disrespectful because a lot of us, when we speak up, we're being disrespectful to our parents. But no, we're really actually telling you how we feel at this right time, at this right moment. And I think that we are up in age to where we can have a conversation without the authoritative behavior. That's another time for another day. Okay, that's what Gen Zs look at things like that. They actually, we call it talking back, but they speak up. And they were taught that by millennials, if we really want to be honest. When it comes to workplace, they not, if they don't like it, they not gonna stick around. They not gonna stick around. But I can say that, some Gen Zs kind of stick in there. They stay quiet, they won't talk much. They won't do too much. I don't want to be too difficult. I need this job because I got this affirm count, this buy now, pay later account coming through, and I got a vacation coming up. So hey, you know what they learned that from millennials. When it comes to friendships, avoiding the hard conversations because I don't want to lose them. Loyalty becomes emotional self-abandonment for them. When it comes to relationships, loyalty isn't a blind, you know, situationship. They say it what it is from the get-go. It's the honesty. Even if it's uncomfortable, it's the honesty. I don't really like you. You keep it real. You talk to other people. It's the honesty. Loyalty means being true and open to them. As long as you honest with me, I'm honest with you. Can't nobody tell me nothing about you, just like they can't come and tell you nothing about me. We good? Okay. So I believe a lot of millennials, a lot of Gen Zs learned a lot of things from millennials when it comes to emotional healing. But that Gen X, the parents of millennials, baby, they carry a different type of emotional blueprint. It's nothing compared to millennials and Gen Zs. Like, it's nothing compared to that. They was raised in a shadow of, independence. And they had to figure it out by themselves. They had to do it by themselves. It was a kind of quiet, but not really quiet transition in happening in their lives. In their lives. When it comes to family, they didn't talk about their feelings. They just handled it. They didn't really have family meetings. They didn't have, okay, So what happened today? Jessica at school. Like what no, they didn't have all that. You had a bad day at school. You couldn't come in the house and say that you had a bad day at school because the parents had something to top that. We ain't gonna worry about that. Look here. They had to figure it out and keep it pushing. Loyalty means burdening others even when it's breaking them inside. That's what loyalty means when it comes to the family dynamic. Even the household is toxic, whatever the case may be. It's like, okay, whatever. If I gotta carry this burden, let me carry this burden